from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, July 26th. So today we have the moon in Scorpio all day. Of course, we shifted into the Scorpio energy midday yesterday. We built in intensity to that first quarter moon in Scorpio that we had last evening. And of course, that provided us with information, with details, with a perspective, with an understanding that changed the game for us a little bit and kind of helped shape the action that is needed at this particular juncture, especially going back to the new moon in Cancer and figuring out some of the intentions that we set at that particular point in time. The first quarter moon is the first point of action in that particular cycle. Although the Scorpio energy is more about our emotional realm and kind of being, I'm going to say, revealed to new information and details, new feelings, new insights that will essentially change the path, the direction that we thought we would be taking, but also reveal to us an action that maybe we didn't know that we needed to take in order to make the great grand goal, vision, dream a little bit clearer. So this is the third moon day in a row, meaning we had 3 days of emotional refinement. Now, the moon in Scorpio is very intense, very passionate. We're the detectives of the zodiac. We want to get to the nitty-gritty bottom of the truth. We want to peel back the layers of a situation, of a circumstance. We want to do a deep dive, not only in our emotional realm, but in our psyche as well, because that's essentially where the programming, the conditioning is dictating how it is that we feel about certain situations and limiting us from actually taking the actions and making the moves that we have to make because emotionally and mentally we're not prepared to do so. So there's a lot of revealing that happens with the moon in Scorpio. And of course, the Scorpio energy is about transformation. At the bottom of the barrel of the meaning and the purpose and the mission of Scorpio energy is transformation. So we are definitely in a different mindset here today. Wednesdays are ruled over by Mercury. Mercury, of course, rules over the mental plane, rules over information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves. Mercury is currently in Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, wrapping up the final days in that Leo energy as we prepare to shift into his second place of power in Virgo energy. So there's a lot of heart and head alignments that need to happen, that need to take place before we're going to actually initiate taking action, making moves in our quest for this new mission, for this new purpose, for this new path, for this new direction. So there are 7 different aspects here today, and all 7 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon is first going to trine with Saturn. Saturn, of course, is the Lord of Karma. He rules over roles, responsibilities, systems, structures, foundations in our lives. He's retrograde in Pisces energy, which of course is a reflection, a review, a reevaluation of our healing journey, of our trauma, of our pain, of our soul contracts, of our dreams, of our intuition, of our inspiration. And with all that, our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, what is lurking in the shadow realm of our mental plane, of our emotions that essentially is preventing us from bossing up, from taking control, from moving on from this chapter that we've outgrown to the next chapter. This is a trine. A trine is a good energy. This is water on water, and water is very cleansing, very transformative, very healing. And we are definitely doing all of those things by having a little bit of a reality check. That's what Saturn does. He slows the roll. He gives us a little bit of a more realistic perspective on what it is that we're dealing with. And the intuitional insights that are coming in, because the Scorpio moon does kind of connect us very strongly with our higher selves, we are starting to understand where it is that we are closing chapters, closing doors, bringing things to a full completion point in order for us to move on to bigger, better things. The moon is then going to interact with Mercury, and this is a good interaction, which means that our heart and our head are getting on the same page. There is an emotional transformation due to the big ideas, the big goals, the big dreams, the big visions that we're now having with Mercury in this Leo energy. We're opening ourselves up to the possibilities of a new mission, a new purpose, a new path, a new direction. And emotionally speaking, the moon in Scorpio is really kind of cutting the crap with the old, cutting the crap with the old programming, the old conditioning, the old constructs, the old relationship dynamics. the old sense of self that now we are morphing into a new version of self in preparation for these new goals, these new dreams, these new visions. So we're starting to get on the same page. The moon in Scorpio is going to sextile, which is a beautiful energy, with Mars, its co-ruler. Mars is the god of war. He rules over physical energy, drive, passion, desire, even anger. He's in Virgo energy right now, really looking to help heal certain aspects of self, really looking to progress, innovate, perfect, if you will, the habits, the systems, the structures, the programming, the narrative, the action plan that we are formulating here in this Virgo energy. So the moon interacting with the co-ruler, there's always a little bit of intensity here, but what this is doing is this putting us in a great position to really get our minds working. We have to explore new ideas. We have some research to do. We have some, I'm going to say, discernment to exercise. We really have to dig a little bit deeper. We have to become as informed as we possibly could be on the possibilities, the variables that we currently have sitting on the table in front of us. We have to be well informed. That's that Virgo energy really pushing the analytical mind space, and the Scorpio energy digging, really getting to the bottom of the nitty gritty so that we have the biggest, greatest, grandest picture of the information available to us on the possibilities, the path, the projection of us actually moving forward. So this is like inspiration, this is determination, this is motivation to do what we got to do in order to gain all the information that we could possibly gain at this particular point so that we can make a well-informed decision on how it is that we're going to exert ourselves, really put our energy out into the world. What is worthy of our time, our energy, our efforts at this particular point in time where planning and strategizing for moving forward is concerned. The moon will then interact with Venus in a positive way. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, who is retrograde at this particular moment in Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac. Side note, if you're interested, I did a whole hour plus astro class on Venus's retrograde, her whole cycle, the different phases of the feminine energy that she moves into, how all of those particular movements aspect and trigger and activate certain parts of our psyche. So if you're interested in doing a lot more, let's say, self-healing, self-work, I definitely recommend you jump over to Patreon, you sign up, you become a subscriber, and you access not only that astro class, but many other astro classes that will help you do a deep dive in your own psychology, in your own healing journey as well. The moon interacting with Venus, who is retrograde in this Leo energy, really reviewing who it is that she is or is not, who it is that she wants to be around or does not want to be around, who and what she values, what she prioritizes, who brings her happiness, joy, safety, security, stability, or lack thereof, because this is a realization on what it is that we have to let go of, what we have to release, what we have to kind of cut the cord with in order for us to grow up, to grow into this new identity, these new belief systems, these new values, these new soul contracts, these new opportunities. The moon interacting with Venus in this way is definitely going to show us the deepest, darkest, most intense parts of our desires. Scorpio energy, all about desires, but equally as much, the minute that we realize what it is that we actually desire is the same moment that our egoic selves brings out the shadow work on what it is that we fear, what we're insecure about, what we feel vulnerable about in our attempt to actually pursue what it is that we actually desire. So just as we have this epiphany on what it is that we want to pursue, we also have an epiphany of all the things blocking us, limiting us, and holding us back from going after what it is that we want. So there should be some sort of heartfelt revelation on what it is that we need, what it is that we want, what it is that we desire, and equally as such, recognize the shadow realm part of self that pops off, really showing us where it is that we are blocking the path and moving forward. The moon will then interact with Neptune, who is retrograde in his place of power in Pisces energy. Again, this is a water on water element. This is definitely going to kind of push our intuition into overload. the strength of the connection to our higher selves, to the universal intelligence around us, peaks when we have Scorpio and Pisces energy interacting in this way. And what we're doing is that we're giving ourselves permission to kind of lose ourselves in a daydream, in a fantasy, in la la land, in imaginary land, in order for us to actually figure out what kind of vision, what kind of dream we're actually looking to conjure up, fixate on, manifest, if you will. But we have to have the strong intuitional insight on what that actually looks like in our mind's eye, in our heart space, what feels good, the vibration, the frequency that takes over our body when we actually envision ourselves living out these particular situations and scenarios that now we're dreaming about and now we're actively going to try and manifest. The moon then goes ahead and sits across from Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings. He's our spiritual wisdom that we've accumulated through all the tough love life lessons that we've gone through. Jupiter is in Taurus energy. Taurus and Scorpio energy sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. They represent death, Scorpio energy, and birth, Taurus energy. Destruction, Scorpio energy. Creation, Taurus energy. The give, the take. The ups, the downs, the inner realm, the physical realm, they're all balanced out by the Taurus and Scorpio energy. So what we're getting here, first of all, an opposition kind of makes us feel like we're being pulled in two different directions. The moon in Scorpio has us kind of thinking that maybe we just need to hold on and kind of work out the bumps and the situations, the circumstances, the scenarios of the here and now. While Jupiter, who's in this Taurus energy until May of 2024, is pushing for us to create new opportunities in love, in money matters, in our physical realm, to build, to create, to manifest a physical reality that looks good, that feels good, that's in alignment with our higher selves. Taurus and Scorpio energy are both fixed signs, so there's a resistance to change. The changes that Jupiter wants us to make are going to be so freaking low and slow and steady that it may not even feel like we're making any kind of change until we reach May of 2024, look back upon the past year and realize that we actually changed a whole hell of a lot. The opposition is going to illuminate where it is that we're not really ready to let go of our current circumstances, as uncomfortable as they may be. There's not a completion point. There's not a closure point. Take a look at all the planets in a retrograde now. That's what they're attempting to do, is bring things full circle so that we can clean up the debris of the past and have a clean slate to start building our future plans upon. So right now, we don't feel like we're ready to build new opportunities. We don't feel like we're looking to push the boundaries of our current experiences and actually expand into new territory. We are very comfortable being uncomfortable in the here and now as we do the work within ourselves to understand where the connection, where the cord, where the attachment is still alive and well to old situations, circumstances, and scenarios that essentially are holding us back, restricting us, blocking us from actually creating the kind of opportunities that Jupiter wants us to create. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon interacting in a very positive way with Pluto, the great transformer who is retrograde in Capricorn energy, who just happens to be the Scorpio energy's ruler. So we're talking major transformations here, major shifts in our inner realms of emotion, in our inner realms of our mental plane, of our psyche, of our programming, of our conditioning, which will eventually lead to the transformation, the metamorphosis of our physical realms. There's a power struggle going on. There is an illumination on where it is that we are collapsing old circumstances, old situations, old soul contracts, but they're not cleaned up as of yet. We would love nothing more than to just turn our back on some of the shit show situations, circumstances that have popped off. But without closure, without a resolution, those particular aspects will come back and haunt us when we actually find ourselves in a place of celebration, when our success, when our dreams, when our visions actually manifest, whatever it is that we're looking to move forward into, will be blindsided, will be sabotaged by the past situation and circumstances that we, at this particular point in time, are being asked to clean up, to bring to a resolution, to bring to a certain completion point so that we don't sabotage ourselves in the future and ruin a good thing once we actually get to building this new situation, this new circumstance, this new situation scenario. So the moon interacting with Pluto in this way is going to be an illumination on where we have to take our power back, where we have the ability to take control over even the smallest information, smallest of details going on in our inner realm. This is a time to flip the script. This is a time to reverse mind F ourselves into being the victor instead of the victim that many of us are trying to break out of. So this is going to be a powerful revelation of our inner realm and what needs to change as far as our narrative and our emotional state goes before we actually are able to stand in our power to take control and start changing our physical realms, our physical circumstances to mirror what it is that we're arriving at in our inner realms.